It's the most barbaric structure in the entire WWE, and Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, will be locked within its confines, and he'll face Seth Rollins, the Universal Champion. The two will go to battle with the championship on the line. Also, Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks will attempt to write another chapter in their blood feud as they clash inside the Hell in a Cell as well. October 6, 2019, let's break down WWE Hell in a Cell. Alright guys, JtoZ TV Dad, and we are here for another episode of JtoZ TV Pro Wrestling Breakdown. We're here in the JtoZ TV Pro Wrestling Control Center, and tonight we are tackling WWE Hell in a Cell, guys. October 6, 2019, Sacramento, California is going to be the place that the show is taking place in. That's right, the venue will be Sacramento, California, guys. Let's jump right in. For this episode of JtoZ TV Pro Wrestling Breakdown, we're going to get started with the kickoff show. Natalya went one-on-one with her rival, Lacey Evans, to open up the show, guys. And I just got to say, Natalya is such a great wrestler. What a talent that she is. She absolutely just excels at the basics. There's a reason why they've kept her around for so long. She is still, to this day, one of the best female workers in the entire business, guys. She makes Lacey look like $1 million here as they do some really good old school mat work to start. They're fighting over wrist locks, arm bars, headlocks, really old school stuff here and they're going to take a little bit to kick it into gear, which is really cool. This is a match that really reminded me of something you'd see play out in the 80s or the early 1990s. I love stuff like this. And Lacey Evans is even going to start working over Natty's knee early on here, although her psychology is a little bit wonky and kind of all over the place. Natty's selling of the knee, though, is absolutely phenomenal, and it just makes you forget that Lacey is still fairly green. Natty's going to try to make her comeback here, but Lacey is just going to snuff it out by taking Natty's head off practically with a pretty nice, stiff, snug lariat right as Natty was going for her own Cyclone lariat. That was a really cool little spot there. And then Lacey's going to go up top and she's going to look for the moonsault. Natty's going to roll out of the way, though, so Lacey's going to crash to the canvas. Natty's going to apply that sharpshooter for the submission victory. I really enjoyed this match a lot, guys. Phenomenally structured matchup. Natty led the way through this, and she really made Lacey look terrific. This was old school awesomeness. Just a really tight, classic-style matchup. 3 1/4 star. Color me surprised. This was a great, great kickoff show matchup. Natty is one of my favorites, guys. All right, we are going to kick the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view off. It's time for the main show to get started here, guys, and we're opening it in a very big way. The Raw Women's Championship is on the line, guys. Becky Lynch taking on Sasha Banks, and we are inside of that big red Hell in a Cell. It's a Hell in a Cell match, guys. I really don't like the red coloring on the cell, but whatever. I'm not going to get too much into it. There's going to be plenty of complaints later on about this show, and the color of the cell is going to be the least of my complaints. Crowd is pretty hot for this one to open up the show, guys, and rightfully so. This feud's been built up pretty well. Both of these women deserve it. This should be pretty good. Sasha's going to jump Becky before the cell is even locked all the way. Before the cell's even lowered all the way down to the floor. The cell is still lowering down to the floor. Sasha's going to jump Becky, and they're going to end up actually fighting out through the bottom of the cell and out into the aisle. Becky is going to end up getting a hold of the chain that's used to lock the door before the ref can secure it. She's going to end up wrapping it around her fist and using it on Sasha Banks. Really cool, nice little tidbit there. The crowd is just hot as heck now, guys, and they're chanting for both women. Awesome atmosphere created for this matchup here. A table and a ladder are going to end up coming into play, but Sasha's going to end up cutting Becky off with a couple of shots, nice shots from a steel chair. Becky doesn't stay down, though, and she's going to respond by throwing that chair right into Sasha Banks' face. I didn't even know they still let the wrestlers do that. I thought any chair shots to the head were discouraged and outlawed, so that's kind of surprising to me. And then Becky's going to deliver a really stiff shot with that chair to Sasha's back. And then we're going to get a really amazing spot here, guys. Check this one out if you haven't seen it. Sasha Banks is going to end up hitting a Meteora, the running double knees, off of the ring apron. And she's going to drive the back of Becky's neck, the base of her neck and the back of her head right into a ladder that's propped up in the corner of the cell. Impressive, incredibly creative spot. I really, really like that spot, guys. Sick, creative stuff. I love stuff like that. The mind that it takes to come up with something like that. Awesome spot. Sasha is then, she's just going to slam Becky's arm repeatedly into the door of the Hell in a Cell just over and over again. This is absolutely awesome so far, guys. Sasha's going to go to work on the arm. She ends up Pillmanizing Sasha's arm inside of a steel chair, slamming it down inside of there. And then we're going to get another creative spot here as she's going to end up sitting Becky in the steel chair. She climbs up to the top rope and hits a Meteora onto Becky as she sat in that steel chair. That's going to get a near fall, guys. She's going to end up opening a chair, Sasha Banks is, and then she wedges it into the mesh of the cell. Incredibly creative. I'm wondering how that's going to come into play later, but it's opened up and wedged into the cell in such a creative way here. Really creative stuff. Becky's going to end up firing back. She grabs Sasha on the floor and hits a Beck-sploder into the wall of the cage. This is absolutely stiff, guys. Both women are working their butts off in this match. Sasha is going to eat a bulldog right onto the open legs of a steel chair. That's creative, too. I've never really seen somebody get driven onto the open legs of a chair, but you know that's got to hurt. Awesome spot. Becky's going to throw a chair of her own into Sasha's face. Sasha's going to catch it, though, and Becky's going to end up hitting a Van Daminator-esque like missile drop kick from the top rope, driving that chair back into Sasha's face. That's going to get a near fall as well. There's a crazy contraption that ends up getting built next, guys. There's 3 Singapore canes, kendo sticks, whatever you're going to call them. They end up getting wedged into the corner of the cell, so they're almost creating a platform, right? Then a steel chair gets set up on top of those kendo sticks, right? This is just crazy. Becky is going to end up sitting Sasha Banks up on top of this chair. She climbs up onto the ring apron and hits a running drop kick into Sasha while she sat on this improvised platform that's set up. This is just such creativity in this match, guys. They have the people firmly hooked and in the palm of their hand. This is a killer match. Awesome near fall as the girls are going to end up fighting over putting each other through a table, and then they're absolutely working the crowd into a frenzy here. And then Sasha's going to end up hitting a Meteora off the top rope that puts Becky right through the table. Awesome spot, guys. That's going to get a 2.9. I really like how Sasha's overly relying on the Meteora. Hopefully that leads somewhere. Sasha's going to end up putting the bank statement on Becky using a Singapore cane as she's pulling back on Becky's neck and her throat with the Singapore cane. Becky is going to end up escaping the ring. She gets that cane and she's going to end up wearing Sasha Banks out with it. And then Becky's going to end up getting rammed face first into that steel chair that Sasha wedged into the cell earlier. I kind of thought that was going to get used in a more creative way. And then Sasha Banks is going to attempt to do her best impression of the old ECW Hardcore TV opening. She's going to go underneath the ring, and she just keeps pulling steel chairs out. This is like the old clown trick where you just keep pulling scarves out of your sleeve or whatever, or how clowns just keep piling out of a car and you're wondering how many got in there. There's literally over a dozen steel chairs that Sasha pulls from under the ring, and she throws into the ring. Sasha's going to end up making a big pile of chairs in the center of the ring. She climbs up to the top rope, but Becky's going to cut her off Becky hits a big Beck-sploder off the top rope onto this big pile of chairs. Wow, that pretty impressive little bump. Becky applies the disarmor, guys. Sasha's got no choice. She has to tap out. Wow. What a creative match from these two guys. Stiff, creative spots. Stuff I've never seen was done here between these two women. Phenomenal story. Their timing and pacing were just out of this world, guys. This was a phenomenal chapter. Hopefully, I don't know if it's the blow off to the feud or not. I'd like to see them work some more. They were incredible in this matchup, guys. This was so good. What a start to the show. Best women's match of the year so far for me. 4.5 stars. I loved this match. The only thing is I wish the Meteora would have paid off in a bigger way. I kind of think that's what Sasha was supposed to be going for at the end of the match there. I think they could have maybe implied it a little bit better. Like I said, I wish it would have paid off a little bit better, but that's hardly a gripe, right, guys? This was next level stuff, though. Phenomenal. And we're going to move right on because next up, we're going to have a tornado tag match. Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan teaming up to take on the team of Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. And right off the bat, I fully expect a take on the Arn Anderson, Brian Pillman, Ric Flair, Sting angle from Halloween Havoc 95 where Flair ended up turning on Sting. That's what I predict. Let's see if they can go that route. And right away, I'm kind of wondering, this is a tornado tag, but I wonder why they didn't do a split cam here. Like, WCW shot a couple of these tornado tags back in the day, and they would always have just 2 cameras shooting the entire thing, and it was almost like they had a split screen going on. I thought that was pretty cool, and it allowed you to kind of catch everything, and it was a unique presentation. Instead here, this is the WWE, guys. They're going to do their dumb multi-man rule where somebody just keeps rolling out of the ring so they keep whatever action they want focused in the ring there. I hate when they do that. If you guys saw my Clash of the Champions review, I kind of didn't like the Drew Gulak, Humberto Carrillo, a Grand Metalik match Lince Dorado match because they utilized this kind of ridiculous rolling out of the ring stuff. I did not like this. I don't like that formula for multi-man matches. It's really contrived. This is supposed... Like I said, this is supposed to be controlled chaos mimicking anarchy, though. So whatever, this is WWE. Yeah, like I said, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan are going to basically take turns rolling out of the ring, and the other is going to be left to double team. Bryan's going to eventually trap Rowan in the LaBelle lock, but Harper's going to end up breaking it up. Bryan is going to get double teamed again from there. This is just dreadful to watch, guys. They literally put together the least entertaining match here that they could. Really slow and dull to get started here. Roman's going to try to end up making a comeback, and he's going to take over on Harper. Daniel Bryan is going to end up firing up and taking over on Harper. Unloading with yes kicks. Everyone's going to end up out on the floor where Harper's going to end up hitting a big suicide dive, which everybody does now. Every single person on the roster does a suicide dive. The worst is Seth Rollins, where he just puts his arms out and barely pushes you back. I hate his suicide dive. Harper and Rowan are going to end up clearing the announce tables off, and they're going to end up exposing the LED board. Daniel Bryan's going to get dropped face first across that. Then Rowan is going to tear the barricade apart. He just rips a piece of the barricade off, charges at Roman Reigns, and hits him with that. And, of course, Corey Graves and Michael Cole claim that piece of barricade's got to weigh a couple 100 pounds. Yeah, okay. Just like those ring steps weighed 500 pounds, Michael Cole, a couple years ago. Get out of town. Roman's going to end up knocked into the crowd, and then it looks like Daniel Bryan's going to end up getting put right through the announce table with the old full Nelson double bomb. But Daniel's going to fire back. He Rana's Harper off of that announce table, and then here comes Roman Reigns with a big spear as he charges across all the announce tables and spears Rowan right through the third announce table. Back in the ring, Daniel Bryan makes his comeback on Harper and goes for a big top rope Hurricane Rana. Harper's going to block it, though, with a big top rope sit-out powerbomb. That only gets 2. Harper's going to end up hitting Bryan with a couple of dragon suplexes. Daniels lands on his feet on the 3rd attempt. Roman Reigns is going to pop back in, and he just surprises Harper with a big Superman punch out of nowhere. Bryan's going to add that B+ knee, and Reigns is going to finish with the spear. This one got a lot better at the end, guys, but there was a really, really dreadful opening to this match. It took a lot of time to get into it. This storyline was absolutely awful for everybody involved. It did nothing for anybody. Please move everybody on to something else now. There had to have been a better way to turn Daniel Bryan babyface because this sucked. I thought maybe they would have went back into the heel Daniel Bryan thing. Have him be the brains behind this, but this is just awful, guys. Post-match, Daniel Bryan wants Roman Reigns wants a handshake, but Daniel Bryan ain't having it. Brother's got a hug, man. Daniel Bryan wants to hug it out, and Roman Reigns obliges him. That's a cool little moment there. We'll go 3 stars. It picked up at the end. That's a generous 3 stars. But you know what? We're going to go 2 3/4. I'm going to change my rating from 3 to 2 3/4. The more I thought about it afterwards, the more I didn't particularly care for that match. So, next up, on Hell in a Cell, this match was made on the kickoff show. Randy Orton is going to take on Ali. I thought he got his Mustafa name back, but I guess not. I guess he's just going by Ali again still. So, WWE fatigue is certainly starting to settle in the crowd because they're starting to die off now, guys. Fatigue setting in already, no bueno. Ali's going to end up selling like crazy for Orton, and he's going to bump around like a madman to start things off. Orton is going to end up suplexing Ali onto the announce table, and I think that's where Ali gets a pretty big gash, a little big scrape. Now, he's not cut, but it's a big, nasty scrape on his midsection. I think it came from this front suplex on the table. Orton's going to go for the big backdrop suplex across the table, but Ali's going to flip out of it and hit a big drop kick on the floor. Orton's going to fire right back, though, and send Ali right into the ring post. And then Randy Orton's going to go vintage Randy Orton. And he slaps on the chin lock, guys. Are you kidding me? Dude. It really doesn't work firing. The intent was Orton was trying to get the people behind Ali by settling them down and putting a chin lock on. And a heel's got to be a heel in 2019 any way they can, right? Including using rest holds. But this is just awful, and it screams of everything that I don't like about Randy Orton. He has all the potential in the world to be such a great worker, and he just barely does enough to scoop by sometimes. You see these little flashes in him, but anyway, it doesn't. Like I said, the chin lock doesn't work in firing the crowd up at all, and doesn't really get them behind Ali. But it does give you a nice shot of that big gash on Ali's stomach there, or on his midsection. Ali's gonna end up firing back. He makes his comeback to nearly crickets. And then the crowd is going to wake up as Orton drills Ali finally with the big snap power slam. And then we get a really loud RKO chant that breaks out. This really isn't working well, is it, guys? Randy's going to go for the RKO, but Ali actually counters out nicely by doing a nice little handstand. And then he nearly catches a flash pin on Orton out of nowhere with a crucifix right after that. Orton's going to kick out, though, and Ali's going to try to follow up with the springboard rolling X Factor. But Orton catches him in midair with the RKO. Pretty creative way to get into the RKO there. It's going to get the 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton will be victorious in this one. This was just too long for me, guys, and it really didn't do anything for Ali. And Orton just wasn't very good here, to be honest. The fans were chanting for him instead of Ali, so he didn't do his job as a heel very well. 2.5 stars. Disappointing. Next up, this match was added pretty last minute to the show as well because we went into this weekend with only a handful of matches booked. This is for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, one of my favorite teams, they're going to team up to take on another one of my favorite teams, the Kabuki Warriors. They're defending the titles against the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. And really, Asuka and Kairi Sane have not been on TV very often, which sucks. So this match, they're going into this match pretty cold, guys. There's really no story here. And things are going to get interesting here because Alexa is going to end up playing your face in peril. And Asuka and Kairi are actually going to end up playing heels here. Kairi Sane plays an awesome heel here, which is very surprising to me because I think Kairi Sane is the best absolute babyface in wrestling right now. Kairi Sane and Riho, the AEW Women's Champion Riho, they're the two best babyfaces in all of wrestling. Their selling creates a sympathy unlike any other. But Kairi's awesome as a heel here. There's a spot where Asuka's just torturing Alexa in the ropes, and Kairi comes over and just messes up Alexa's hair just to mess with her. Right behind, and she makes sure she does it behind the ref's back too for extra heat. I like that little tidbit. And then Kairi's gonna get the spot of the match, and she's getting ready to go into her the sliding elbow in the corner. So she's walking the plank, if you will, across the ring, and Nikki Cross is standing on the bottom rope. So as Kairi stomps over to her, she just does a little old school Roddy Piper Three Stooges, just pokes Nikki right in the eyes. I got a loud belly laugh from it, guys. That was a really cool little heel spot. Awesome stuff. That's just total Three Stooges style, right? Nikki Cross ends up getting the hot tag, but Kairi is going to end up dumping her with the Alabama Slam, and she goes up top looking for the insane elbow. Nikki's going to get her feet up here, guys, and this is a heck of a bump. Watch Kairi come down full force right across Nikki's fully outstretched feet. What a sick spot that is, guys. Nikki hits the Twisted Sister. That's got to be it. 1, 2. Asuka ends up breaking it up, and she just takes over on Nikki. She starts unloading all kinds of stiff shots on her, including those old school, just Japanese style, strong style, just short kicks to the forehead. She just unloads on them on Nikki here. Back out on the floor. Asuka's gonna go for the buzzsaw kick here on Nikki, but Nikki's gonna block it and clothesline Asuka. Bliss ends up coming off of the apron onto Kairi Sane with a big somersault plancha. Back inside. Asuka surprises Nikki Cross by spraying her with green mist, guys. The old Tajiri Great Muta mist. Asuka finishes Nikki Cross with the buzzsaw. 1, 2, 3. We have new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. How cool was Asuka using the green mist, guys? Both of them were both gloriously awesome as heels here. That visual with Asuka with the green mist all over her face, dripping down her face, that's some pretty classic stuff there, guys. I had a lot of fun with this match. I'm glad Asuka and Kairi got the belts. 2 3/4 of a star. This was pretty fun stuff. So next up, this is another match just added to the card. It's a 6-man tag. The OC, AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson are teaming up to take on the team of the Viking Raiders with Braun Strowman. Ivar and Anderson are going to end up starting, and Ivar is going to just overpower Carl Anderson. And then Ivar is going to end up shining with an awesome upside-down counter, and almost Ric Flair style as he gets whipped into the buckle. He ends up charging up to the top rope and then leaping over top of Anderson, rolling through and making the hot tag to Eric. Just awesome visual. Ivar is really athletic. Eric comes on in, and he's going to end up getting isolated. He's going to be your Viking in peril, guys. Heat portion just goes on way too long in this match to the point where Carl Anderson actually locks in a chin lock, and I end up letting out an audible groan. 2 chin locks in 2019 on a WWE pay-per-view. This is the same week that AEW launched. Amongst other missteps WWE had this week, this whole show, we'll get to it at the end, but this whole show is really starting to look that way, outside of Becky versus Sasha. Eric's going to end up backdropping AJ Styles in a pretty nice spot and ends up making his comeback. And why don't more guys take backdrops anymore? I love a good back body drop. Eric gets the hot tag to Braun Strowman, and he comes in. He's your monster on fire. He's cleaning house. He's going to take his lap and wipe everybody out around the ring. Back in, Braun is going to eat the ring post, though, on a blind charge. And then AJ's going to take out the knee. And he goes for the calf crusher to try to force his submission. But the Viking Raiders are going to end up coming in and breaking it up. And guys, it is Bonzo Gonzo. Everybody is just going at each other now. Styles misses a blind charge. And Braun ends up going for the power slam. But the OC break it up, and the Good Brothers just keep beating down on Braun Strowman. They refuse to get out of the ring. And then the ref calls for the bell. What the heck am I watching, you guys? Am I watching a WCW show from 1991? Why don't they just take somebody and throw them over the top rope to force a disqualification? This is ridiculous on a pay-per-view. I gotta bite my lip. I'm not very happy with that. 2 stars. Yeah, barely a match. Braun is going to end up laying out AJ Styles with a big punch to build up the confrontation tomorrow night on Raw with Tyson Fury. It's funny because Brock never even was known as a striker or for utilizing a punch really as a move or a signature move before this whole thing with Tyson Fury. Now suddenly he's got the Big Show's WMD and he's laying people out. Whatevs. Next up, the mediocrity continues to roll in at us, guys, because King Baron Corbin is going to be going one-on-one with Chad Gable. Again. Okay, so this is a prime example of the problem that WWE has. They got a lot of TV time to fill, but they also have one of the largest rosters since WCW 1997 and 1998. And WCW had just as much, if not more, content that they had to create weekly. And they didn't repeat matches as often as the WWE is doing here. If you know that's the thing is they didn't know that they were going to throw this match on to pay-per-view, but if you know that you possibly want to save this one for a pay-per-view, then maybe book guys. You have hundreds of other guys in your roster pretty much. Book somebody against somebody else. More on their problem and their ineptness at booking later on in this show, okay? We're going to get back to that. Anyway, there is I love both of these guys, so there's no excuse for this to be happening here. Corbin is going to start by stalling Old School, getting the mic and cutting a promo on Chad Gable, finally dubbing him Shorty Gable, which we all knew was coming. Back inside, Gable's going to get things started with the running Kappa kick to start, and a Gable chant is going to end up ringing out. Corbin's going to end up firing back by sending Gable into the ring post. And then this just absolutely breaks down and gets absolutely slow. And for the third match of the night, Baron Corbin slaps on a rest hold. I just got to shake my head. Gable tries to come back, but Corbin is going to cut that off by catching a springboard cross-body block attempt out of the corner, and he turns it into a pretty smooth-looking spine buster. Nice little spot. Chad Gable comes back later on with the Chaos Theory, but that only gets 2. Is that even still his finisher? Because I don't even remember him beating anybody with that lately. Corbin is going to end up coming back with a big, nice powerbomb for 2. End of Days gets blocked, and Gable ends up getting a blockbuster. Then he goes up top for the moonsault, which connects. That gets a near fall as well. Gable slaps the ankle lock on, but Corbin ends up making the ropes. And then he ends up chokeslamming Gable onto the ring apron. And then he retrieves his trusty King Saber that he picked up at Spirit Halloween store. He's got his costume accessory here, his costume jewelry, if you will, his movie prop. And he's going to try to use it as a weapon. Gable's going to duck it and end up schoolboying Corbin for the 1-2-3. Greg Hamilton says that your winner is Shorty Gable. And then Michael Cole just blows a gasket, claiming Hamilton needs to be fired. That was pretty entertaining. But this match went on for far, far too long for something that we've seen before. Practically no heat here, and it just screamed of being filler for this show. The win here does nothing for Chad Gable. He got the win, but the way that he won It just did nothing for him. This didn't even get close to approaching the... these two had an awesome match on Raw in the King of the Ring finals a couple weeks ago. It was Baron Corbin's best match that he's had since coming to WWE. This did not even get close whatsoever. 2 stars. Very mediocre. So next up, it is the SmackDown Women's title. It's on the line as Bayley is defending against Charlotte Flair. What in God's name is happening to Charlotte Flair's face, you guys? It seems like every time I see her, her looks are just deteriorating. This is not a double standard because, you know, we pick apart male wrestlers all the time for the ways that their bodies change, their muscular mass changes, fluctuates, whatever. Charlotte is either having really bad plastic surgery or something else is going on because something is going on with the way that she looks. And I'm not the only one that notices it. My wife is always pointing this out to me. Bayley is really starting to settle into the heel stuff, and I really hope that they're able to run with that more. Charlotte opens up on Bayley to start and ends up putting her actually in a pretty decent elevated Boston Crab, but Bayley's going to end up making the ropes. Bayley, and then again, Bayley shifts into heel mode and ends up raking Charlotte's eyes. I love that. She takes control and hammers away. Charlotte ends up getting a knee up on Bayley's charge in the corner, but Bayley ends up taking Charlotte all the way down to the floor and ends up ramming her knee repeatedly into the LED board. And then Bayley's going to end up going to work on Charlotte's knee to try to take a page out of her book. And a good offense is a great way. A good defense is a great offense. The best defense is a good offense. I'm not the best with sayings, but I like the idea here from Bayley. Basically attacking Charlotte's knee before Charlotte can take hers out. And then another thing I noticed, Bayley's tights with the globe and role model printed on them are classic stuff. I really hope they run with this Bayley heel character a little bit more, the self-righteous role model thing. Charlotte ends up coming back, and she's going to work on Bayley's knee now. Natural selection connects, but that only gets 2. Bayley ends up grabbing the bottom rope to escape. Charlotte goes for that incredibly dangerous moonsault, but Bayley ends up getting her knees up. Charlotte fires back with a fall-away slam on the floor. She ends up slamming Bayley's knee into the LED board a few more times. Figure 8, it's attempted by Charlotte, but Bayley's going to end up small packaging her out of that for 2. She schoolboys her and then ends up putting her feet on the ropes, another classic heel move. 1, 2, the ref ends up catching Bayley's feet on the ropes and stops his count. Charlotte's going to end up trapping Bayley in the figure 8 for the submission victory and her 10th title. And she gets booed, guys. The fans wanted Bayley to win. Bayley, for some reason, has to constantly job in California or anywhere near her hometown. But what I'm upset about is them cutting Bayley's knees out from under her right when she started to get over. She's really starting to take off and be awesome with this heel character. I hope that maybe they keep Bayley around, give her a rematch with Charlotte, let her chase the title and maybe steal it back one more time because this heel Bayley's got all the potential in the world. I hope they don't. I hope that they don't turn Bayley babyface again and have Sasha turn on her or something like that. I didn't really care for this match. This was as dull as dishwater, just like the rest of them. A couple of the other matches on the show tonight. Actually, everything except for the opener. 2 stars. And Lacey and Natty was really good too, but 2 stars. And now it is time, guys. Highly anticipated match. The buzz of the internet. The WWE Universal Championship in our main event. It is the Hell in a Cell match. Seth Rollins defending the championship against Bray Wyatt, guys. And kind of an eerie look here. Eerie but frustrating as it looks like they're going to work under this red-tinged cane lighting, if you will. Seth is going to try to use a Singapore cane right away, but Bray is going to end up no-selling it and coming back with the big Uranagi. Bray slams Seth into the cell and then into the ring steps. Seth is going to grab a hold of those ring steps and end up using them to fight back. And then Seth is going to introduce a table into the match. Seth ends up hitting that incredibly weak little push dive onto Bray a few times, knocking him into the cell. And then Seth is going to end up setting that table up in the ring. Bray catches Seth, though, on another weak dive attempt on the floor. And his sister Abigail puts Seth face first into the cage wall. Pretty neat spot. Back inside, and Bray is going to get some instructions from Hurt, as Hurt seems to be talking to the Fiend there. He looks for a Uranagi through the table, but Seth is going to end up fighting him off. And then he's going to put Bray right through the table with a big frog splash from the top rope. Rollins hits the curb stomp, but Bray Wyatt no-sells it in a pretty cool spot. Sister Abigail ends up connecting. 1, 2, Seth kicks out. And then Bray is going to end up grabbing Seth's neck and doing the old movie neck snap to him. That should basically kill him. Did Seth die or what? You're going to keep working after that? Bray Wyatt ends up going under the ring, and he produces his big wacky clown mallet that he ended up squashing Rambling Rabbit with on Firefly Funhouse a few weeks ago. Pretty cool that he has it in this match. He ends up driving it into Seth's midsection, but Seth is going to fight back, and he stomps Bray. He hits the curb stomp on Bray, driving his face into the mallet in a really cool spot. Back inside, and Seth is going to just hit springboard knees from across the ring, both sides onto Wyatt repeatedly. And then Seth is just going to start unloading with stomp after stomp after stomp after curb stomp after curb stomp after curb stomp. And Bray just keeps getting up. And people just start booing Seth Rollins here, guys. This is one heck of a atmosphere in the crowd, you guys. This is insane. Seth ends up hitting Bray with a pedigree and then another stomp. But Bray ends up no-selling. More stomps by Seth. And Seth just keeps stomping and stomping. And you guys, the boos are incredibly loud here. Seth ends up going to grab a chair. And he just stands over the fallen Fiend. And he's trying to check to see if the Fiend's moving. He's going to take that chair and just slam it right down on Bray's face in a really crazy spot. Again, what's with the headshots with the chairs now? Pretty surprising to me that they're allowing these shots to happen. He covers, but Bray kicks out at 1. So he puts the chair over Bray's face again. Then he grabs that ladder and slams the ladder down on top of the chair, driving that into Bray's face. 1, 2. Bray kicks out at 2. So then Seth brings out some Singapore canes. Then he brings out a toolbox. Seth is going to take the chair and the ladder and pile them on top of Bray's face. Then he's going to take the toolbox and he just starts slamming the toolbox down on top of Bray's face, on top of that ladder and the chair over and over again. This is pretty brutal stuff. Wow, more boos for Seth Rollins now. So then Seth is going to go out to the floor, and he retrieves Papa H's sledgehammer, guys. That's right, he's got Triple H's sledgehammer for some reason. And the ref is going to stop him, because that's too much. Okay, then. Seth has a moment of doubt, and he's going to go up and use the sledgehammer, but the ref stops the match, and they ring the bell. I'm fuming right now just thinking about it again, you guys. What the heck is this crap, you guys? The fans are absolutely irate that they've stopped a Hell in a Cell match. It has hell in the name of it. Shawn Michaels had a bloodbath in the cell. Mick Foley was thrown through the cell and off the top of it. But they're going to stop a Hell in a Cell match for this. The fans are not happy. The internet is not happy. I'm not happy. I want to cancel my network subscription. And we're going to get to that in a minute. They're going to do some post-match crap here where EMTs come out to take Bray out on a stretcher. But he's immediately going to pop up and attack Seth Rollins. Sister Abigail, he plants him on the floor with Sister Abigail and applies the mandible claw. And it looks like Seth Rollins has eaten a mouthful of Red Starburst. That's just copious amounts of blood just start coming out of Seth's mouth. This is really awful stuff. The absolute worst. This is the equivalent of WCW's finger poke of doom, especially on this week of all weeks, with AEW just firing on all cylinders and getting started, and just beating NXT in the ratings on Wednesday. This is not a good look, WWE. You had the hottest character in many years. The absolute hottest character in many years. And you Lex Lugered him. You can dress this terrible, lazy cop-out finish up any way that you want, but you can't conceal the fact that WWE gave us a bullcrap, lazy finish. They booked themselves into a corner. If you don't want to beat either guy, why book the match? This is a massive, massive, massive disaster. I'm a WWE fan of over 30 years, but this has me contemplating canceling my WWE Network subscription and just bowing out right now. That's how hot I am about this. Because they're actively ignoring their own rules that they've created in their own universe. And that is bad writing. That's just bad writing. Hell in a Cell matches can end in ref stoppages now? What is this crap, dude? You guys just handed AEW a bunch of willing and eager eyeballs because a majority of the fans that watched this crap tonight have been disillusioned and put off by this atrocious booking decision. I'm not even going to rate this match. That's how monumentally stupid and awful the finish was. The worst WWE finish to a pay-per-view of all time, and I've seen a lot of them. This is the worst finish to any pay-per-view I've seen in a long time, and that includes Hulk Hogan beating Ric Flair by pinfall in a freaking First Blood match. Or maybe it was Flair beating Hogan. Whatever, they ended a First Blood match with somebody pinning somebody. And I don't even think the guy that got pinned was the right guy in the match. This is an all-time bad finish. People were invested in this Fiend character. This would totally be like if Stone Cold wrestled Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 14 and Stone Cold gets disqualified because he hits Shawn with a chair or some stupid crap like that. You kill the momentum of a character. Wins and losses don't matter. You could have had a top star that would have been worth so much money, but as WWE is so used to doing, they've just left tons of money on the table. Alright. Let's get to it, guys. I'm absolutely disgusted, so let's get to it. What is the bottom line on WWE Hell in a Cell 2019? Okay, it's basically, I'm going to be honest, it's hard to call this anything other than awful. Because of the disgusting taste left in my mouth by the dumbest booking decision in many, many, many years. I mean, fans in the building were reportedly chanting refund after the lights came on in the building. And rightfully so, I don't blame them at all. If I was there in person and I had to sit through not only watching the match in that red light, which had to have been, it wasn't very good for an aesthetic on TV, let alone in person in the arena, especially up in the nosebleed seats. WWE is going to be that disrespectful and insult the intelligence of its fans so much that it makes me sick to my stomach. Absolutely sick that I've ever been a fan of this company after this bull crap. That finish was downright demoralizing and offensive to the entire WWE fan base. This is a call to all the JtoZ subscribers out there. This is a call to anybody within the distance of my voice. If you can hear my voice, take heed right now. Cancel your WWE Network subscriptions. Just get rid of them right now. Don't watch Raw. Don't watch SmackDown. Don't even support NXT. Get rid of everything WWE. Stop talking about them on Twitter. If you want things to change, stop giving this terrible company your money. I've defended them a lot. I like Paul Heyman. I like Eric Bischoff. But Vince McMahon, what the... Let WWE know how satisfied you are. Let WWE know how dissatisfied you are by how you spend your dollars, by how you spend your viewing hours. There's in a world where there's so many other wrestling companies that are readily available to view easily now, you're going to find something that's not going to insult your intelligence. You're going to find something that at least plays by its own rules that it creates within its own universe. WWE is so far away from pro wrestling now. It's disgusting. This is the worst booked wrestling company, I think, in the history of wrestling. I'm going to call it now, worse than WCW. They totally mishandled things here tonight. Thumbs way down for the worst booked wrestling show of the year. Check out Lacey Evans and Natty in the kickoff show for some great classic wrestling action. And go out of your way to see Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks inside the Hell in a Cell, because it was absolutely terrific and the best women's match of 2019 so far. Flush the rest of it down the toilet because it absolutely sucked and it was terrible. You don't leave a bad taste in the fan's mouth and send them home that unhappy. Terrible business move. But while this show is a big thumbs down, we do hope that you will go ahead and give this video a big old thumbs up and go ahead and smack that subscribe button as well, guys. Join the JtoZ TV universe for more of these awesome JtoZ TV pro wrestling breakdown videos. I mean, when WWE books some crap, I'm going to tear them apart for it, guys, and that's entertaining, right? Well, hopefully next time we do one of these videos, the next wrestling show that we check out, they won't make such bad moves that WWE did here tonight, guys. This is just, it's undefendable, it's absolutely atrocious, and WWE should be ashamed of themselves, guys. Ugh. I just want to get rid of this show, so I'm going to go check out something a little more positive. Maybe another one of the JtoZ TV videos. That's a perfect way to wash this terrible taste out of your mouth. Why don't you go check out something on the JtoZ TV channel right now. We got lots of awesome videos coming out all the time, guys. And we've got a pretty nice little library backlogged up there of videos for you guys to check out. So head over to JtoZ TV right now. Hit that subscribe button. Check out our old content, guys. And do us a favor and make sure you step back through those ropes next time for another JtoZ TV Pro Wrestling Breakdown. Until next time, guys, I will catch you down that aisle. Bada bing, bada boom, bada